I'm Alvin Edwards, Dr. Edwards, and I'm here to talk about my role in film. I've always been interested in drama. I started in being interested in grammar school. I used to do a lot of acting. As a matter of fact, I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Art for 1 year, and after that I came back home and taught for a while, and then I went into medicine. At that time there was nothing in film really. It's not as prolific as it is today, and the opportunities to make a living in film were very small at that time. But I was interested in it. So I went and I studied acting and drama, and I started writing. I wrote a screenplay for which we did a film. But what really changed things for me is 1 year Hammer Productions did a workshop on filmmaking from some people at Syracuse University. They came down, and I signed up for it, and it was pretty good. So I started writing and started to work towards producing a film. Then I met my good friend Dr. Howell, and that's what really changed everything, because he is such an unselfish person. He is also a doctor, and he studied film too. So he had the same interests I had, and he was very helpful to me to get me going in film. So I started, my first film was Once in an Island, a story I wrote that was about, it was about Caribbean life, and I wanted to highlight certain things with respect to how we live. I found that Antigua was going through a very unique period, and I thought that we should document it. So I started on that film, and I produced that. It was very well accepted. And from that film, before we started, we did a lot of workshops. We did a lot of screenings. We went to the task of casting it. And after that, quite a number of the persons that worked with me on that film began to become more involved in film in Antigua. So I think from that pivotal moment, it spread beyond just Hammer and involved a number of persons, including myself and Dr. Howell and a few other persons who are now doing film, also Nigel Trellis. I think there are lots of people interested in film, and film is good. Film can do a lot now, and with the technology we have, all we have to do is to become organized. But we are not starting in the greatest of positions, because I think one of the problems that we have as a small island with a small economy and a small population is that there isn't the powers that be, or the superstructure doesn't demonstrate a lot of confidence in its own people to do many things, and film is one of them. There is no real encouragement, and if you talk to them, they don't have any confidence at all that we can do the things we can, even with the amount of talent that we have and the amount of young persons that's now going off to study film. I'm hoping that will change, but we're coming from way down, because for us to go forward, we have to demonstrate confidence in our people. We have to encourage them, and most of all, we have to provide financing, and that's another big problem that we have. Since Once in an Island, I have become involved in more film, in this time in acting. I did a number of roles in acting, and I'm very happy being an actor, but I think that I would like to do more in terms of film production, mainly because of the statement that it makes. A statement that can reach out to so many persons and can do quite a lot for us. I'm hoping that I have one that I'm working on right now, and I'm hoping that it will be finished by next year. And I'm also looking at how we can develop opportunities together here in the Caribbean, here in the whole Caribbean, to sort of market what we have, because this interest in film is not just in Antigua. I've seen it in St. Kitts, I've seen it in Trinidad, in Jamaica, throughout the whole region. I think there are a number of persons who have the talent to work in film. Even one of my kids have gone on to do some work in film, and they now work in the United States. So I think that I'm hoping that down the road, we will be able to have a lot more confidence in our own people. We'll be able to provide the platforms on which they can grow. If I can do that, I will. And the future can be quite bright because we have the talent. That's one of the first things I noticed when I started doing film. I think in Antigua, we have natural acting ability. You don't have to train for too long. You don't have to spend, it's not difficult to train a person in acting. They are naturally good at it. And I think that if we exploit that, as the Nigerians have done, because Nigeria is now the world's largest producer of film. And as a matter of fact, on television, that's the only things I watch because I really like the storyline and I like the acting. I think the acting is excellent. So I'm hoping that we can join that kind of format and be able to produce more film that people all over the world will see what we have. I've been a part of the Motion Picture Association since it started. I'm one of those persons who pioneered the start of the Motion Picture Association. I think I was the first vice president. So I was there, and the whole purpose of it was to see to it that we could collaborate, we could join together, and try to work on a common goal, That has taken a while, but we're still hopeful. But right now, I'm just an ordinary member. I was president for a brief moment, but I'm just an ordinary member now, and that's important. Of course, I'm supportive whenever they ask me to do anything. But, you have to give somebody else a chance, and that's what's happening. And I think they're becoming quite active again. Well, I'm not directly a part of the Film Academy, but I can tell you this. Teaching is very, very important in developing film. We have to learn. I'll give you an example. One of the things we are short on is good editors. And I think we're going to have to find a strategy to develop editors locally. The Film Academy helps to train persons in film in general, like train actors, writers. It helps to train DPs and sound guys. But one of the things that we have lacked and we really need, because it's fairly difficult and it requires a lot of training, is the editors. And some film remain still in production, awaiting editing. So if we can find a way to sort of move that forward a bit, I think we will do much better. That's one area. But I think that the whole concept of the Film Academy, of course, when it started, Dr. Howell is the one who started it, and he wanted to ensure that the young people who wanted to learn film get a chance to learn film. And I'm really amazed at his enthusiasm and his commitment to this. I think he draws us in with his commitment to that. And I think it has done a good job over the years, because I've seen a number of young people have gone abroad after that to become involved in film. And I think we've had a number of persons doing different things in film in different parts of the world now. But the Film Academy, I think, is really, really important. It has been very, very important for young people to give them a chance to see what it's all about, and for them to see whether or not they have a natural ability in any of the areas, because film production involves a lot. It involves sound, it involves light, it involves motion, it involves acting, it involves art settings. It just requires so much skill that a person might see within the scope that they'll see within that scope something that they could be interested in, or they have a natural ability to it. So I certainly think the Film Academy is an excellent idea, and I'm hopeful that it continues. Well, I think the film industry exposed everybody's culture and heritage. Let me tell you something. One of the things that has always fascinated me is how the whole world, especially this Caribbean, love the karate movies. Now, that's a completely different culture, but they just love karate movies over the years. And the Hong Kongese don't even know us, we don't know them, but they have been able to produce film that has shown us what they think of film and what they think of karate, and has sold that to us. So certainly we can have the opportunity to sell our culture and the things that we like to others if we can do it really good. And we see the Nigerians doing it now in Africa, because the African movies are now so popular among our people that that just tells us that we can do the same thing. Well, that is a very good question. If you went to the Chinese and asked the Chinese, how can they develop film, they'll tell you the first thing they'll do is look at their people, get advice from their people, and work with their people. We don't have that habit in Antigua. We don't have the habit of working with our people to develop something. If something needs to be developed, we pull somebody from outside and say, let's do this for me, do that for me. The first thing we have to do is to begin to show faith and confidence in our people. That's one of the things that I think we suffer from a lot. We have a tendency to bringing somebody else to do something that we can do, not just in film, in everything. As a matter of fact, they'll bring somebody in and don't even say anything to you. The kind of disrespect that Antiguans get from their own government is amazing. The first thing they need to do is to have a little respect for their own people and the things that they do. Ask them a few things, talk with them and see what it is they believe can be done to help film to grow. And I'm pretty sure that would be a good way to start. But sometimes you find somebody comes and they're in the government and they think they know everything and they haven't been involved in it. They don't listen to you, they will find somebody else from Timbuktu and listen to them, but not you. This is a problem we have. And I'm not sure if it is a problem that Antigua has alone. It might be one of those post-slavery problems that we have, where we just don't have that respect and confidence in each other. And that's one of the things that I think we're going to have to correct. Well, the private sector can help by contributing financially to film and the development of film. But one of the questions that will always be asked is, how are they going to benefit from it? Because the private sector is about what they can benefit from. I think that one of the things that's needed in the Caribbean, and if the private sector could invest in it, that would be excellent. And that is to have a platform from which people all over the Caribbean can just view Caribbean film. And I'm thinking of a platform, something like Netflix. You can go on Netflix and you see movies from all over the world. It would be good if we had a platform in this Caribbean where I can go upstairs, and just as I can pick on Netflix, I can pick on another site where I can see films done in the Caribbean. And we have had some really exciting films done in the Caribbean. And we may not start off at the top, but once you get an opportunity to build, you can move from step to step to step until you become something that the whole world would be interested in looking at. This is one of the things the private sector can do, as in addition to, of course, helping to invest in film. I remember I had one person from the private sector who invested in the film once in an island. And she was so good, so helpful. She saw me the other day and she said, I'm ready to work on another one, because she enjoyed working with us on that one so much. So I'm really looking forward to work on another one with her. But I think that, the private sector is very, very important. We have to learn, however, how to sort of position whatever it is they produce in our film, so that when people see it, it can help to promote the private sector and whatever it is that they produce as well. We need organization, and we need finance, and we need funds, and we need places that we can meet and show things for this to happen. I'm hopeful that we're always hopeful. We live with hope. But working with the private sector, working with the film producers, and working with the government, should things change, I think can do a hell of a lot for us. You see, we are a small island, and we have to understand that we have to grow. We have to grow with the region, and we have to do things in a different way. But it doesn't mean that because we are small, we cannot grow to be something of a powerful entity. Look at Singapore is a small island as well, And just PayPal I use PayPal all the time, and that's from Singapore. So we can go as a small island, if we work together, if we have faith and confidence in ourselves, we can get there as well. Well, you can look at it from several different angles. Some people think that it's important to have a film festival so that you can see what other people are doing, and you can come in and enjoy the different art in its different flavors from different parts of the world, and you can give yourself an opportunity to show what you have. But for me, I think film festival for us would be more important to show what we have and give our people an opportunity to show what they can do. This is what I like. And film festival, if you do a film, one of the things you try to do is to find a film festival a lot of people go to show your stuff. Because if people go to a film festival and they look at your stuff, then your stuff may be able to be taken up by one of the big distributors, and the rest will be history. But certainly that is one of the important things about it. We have to continue to hone in our skill. You never start in film at the top. You have to build your way up. And you have to find platforms, steps, and different things to move on so you can get up. A film festival is just one of those things that you can use to rise. Well, we can do a lot with that. And as you say, you just look at a cell phone there and you see. One of the things that I wanted to do when I was president is every month to have a competition on short films done by cell phones. And this can include dance, it can include all of the things you just mentioned. If we have a short film competition monthly done on cell phones and we have good prizes, you will allow the creative energy of Antiguans and persons in this region to explode. You see what I'm saying? You just need platforms, you need opportunity. But if you look on WhatsApp, every minute you get a short film. It could be 1 minute, it could be 15 seconds. That is so interesting. But it demonstrates talent and ability. So we could use that, to help our people to be producing more. Dancers, dramatists can all use this same avenue to show what they have. So that's one of the things. I had tried to work on it when I was president, but I don't know if I don't think we have continued with that, but I think that would be an excellent idea. The other thing is workshops. Workshops are so important to pass on information, and competitions too can help. The small little competitions are things that are good. I remember we, as PASAB, when I started the Performing Arts Society of Antigua and Barbuda, we started the competitive film festival. There was a young lady from England. She was really very good, Sally, I think was her name, who worked with us and with this competitive music festival. And the concept of the competitive music festival was to help young people who are learning an instrument to have something to look forward to in terms of a competition. So if you are playing the guitar or you're playing the flute, there's a competition at your level for you to compete with, and you competed with others who were learning. So it was something to look forward to, because if you're learning stuff, you would like to have an opportunity when you can show what you have. So that competitive music festival, which we started, was supposed to do that. It was very good, but it didn't continue after that. But I wish we had done so, because that would have been really big by now. Well, we don't really know what's going to happen next year with COVID-19. My prediction is, this is just my personal prediction, that I think by January, February, I think we will see some element that controls COVID. I don't predict that it's going to be a vaccine. I think it's more than likely will be something to do with interferon beta in a mist form that I think will help to control COVID. Notwithstanding that, we cannot allow COVID alone to prevent us from going forward. So we'll have to find ways to go forward, to have events and still cope with the problems of transmitting COVID. I think once we take precautions and the social distancing, masks, I think we can definitely go forward with Cairo Festival. We shouldn't let that stop us because the world has to go on, you know. However, I feel that by January, February, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. That, you know, we might, you know, be able to show some control over this. You know. It's sad that we lacked leadership from the United States in this, because they're central to this new world, you know, in terms of control of these type of illnesses, like as we had Ebola and things like that. But they didn't show the type of leadership that we are expected from the United States. And I think this is part of the reason why it is the way it is today. But I'm hopeful that hopefully if there's new leadership, we may be able to, by about January, February, begin to see, you know, some control of the illness.